Zoho's Arattai has dropped out of India's top 100 apps.
I really don't care to operate in pure hype environment. We are here to produce really long-term technology, and the people who pay attention and making fun of this, they are wasting their time.
Why should Indians use Zoho's apps? Is it because they offer a better user experience or simply because they are Swadeshi products?
90% of the company's revenues come from outside India. If we want to become a higher income economy, we have to focus on value addition. That means inventing all of this technology.
How do you feel when people compare Zoho's apps and products with Koo and Hike?
I simply ignore them. See, the only way to answer those critics is to last long enough and win.
Is AI really a bubble?
$2-3 trillion investment commitments, not sufficient even revenue, leave alone profit to pay for all that investment. Current hype cycle is cooling off. The internet, we had a dot-com bust. Only after that the internet really took off.
What kind of support you are looking at from the government?
Zoho has created all of these products. It did not have any government support, and I am saying that government support is not required to build, invent technology itself in most areas. And even in China, it is not true that government supported all of this. Really, the Chinese believed in themselves. We have to believe in ourselves.
What's the update on end-to-end encryption for all chats and media on Arattai?
Yeah, so basically our
Hello and welcome everyone. I am Naman Yadav and you are watching ANI Interviews. With me right now is a man who is building an empire out of a village in Tamil Nadu. He is taking on tech giants including Google, Meta and Microsoft. Thank you Mr. Vembu for having a conversation with ANI. Mr. Vembu, I'll start with the latest. Zoho's Arattai has dropped out of India's top 100 apps on both Google Play Store and Apple Store. What do you think went wrong in the last 1 month?
There's nothing going wrong. I think first of all, the idea that something went wrong is what is wrong. It is a normal course of events. Nothing should straight to the moon. You have to go through, these ups and downs. And the trick to companies that survive is they have a long-term view on this. In fact, I never thought the number one is anything big. In fact, I literally told our employees, this is a particular moment, it won't last, but we are here to, it's 5-year, 10-year, 15-year trajectory for us. So that's why I simply don't pay attention. And the people who pay attention and making fun of this, they are wasting their time. That's how I'll say it. We are not wasting time. We are sitting and focused on code. So I said, don't worry about it.
Mr. Vembu, WhatsApp is testing a feature that will allow users to message people on other platforms also. And you had also explored the idea of cross-compatibility between messaging apps. Do you welcome this move?
Yeah, so basically our strategy in all this, the messaging is very core. And we have been working on it for 10 years. So this 1 month fluctuation is nothing for us, right? And we will continue this, and we have a really strong app. It's getting stronger. In fact, there's an update landing today or tomorrow, and then another update in 2 weeks. Every 1 or 2 weeks now we have updates, and we are also building an ecosystem of apps around it, and we are studying every possible angle by which that we can add value. And the second is, if we don't have competition, you can't keep the monopolist honest. The only thing that keeps a monopolist honest is competition. And you already noticed, I think WhatsApp is sending signals that maybe they will open it up, right? Remember why it happened? It happened because Arattai launched, basically. And they know that we are determined. We know that we won't give up. And that's how you open up these ecosystems. You have to have credible competition. That's how it opens up ecosystem. Otherwise, they'll give you a pretense that somehow it can never be opened, which is of course bullshit. So that's why I think we have to apply competitive pressure in order to even open up existing systems. If that's all we do, that's a valuable service too, by the way. If you open up existing ecosystems for a lot of apps to play, that itself is a valuable service.
What's the update on end-to-end encryption for all chats and media on Arattai? Has it been fully rolled out? Because this is one of the areas where Arattai has been facing a lot of criticism.
Yeah, in fact, I already posted screenshots of it. Based on the feedback we received, we are going to go with option two, which is that all of it's a system-wide mandate, but it will take us some time. So tomorrow or day after, in a couple of days, we'll have an update, and then another 2 weeks we have an update. Because one thing about end-to-end encryption is that you have to have a backup. Otherwise, if you reinstall the app, nuke it and reinstall, you will lose all your chats. So you have to have backup. We are actually working on the backup. In the cloud version, the backup was in the server automatically. Now in this device encrypted version, you have to choose a backup, and the server does not know what is backed up. It just knows a sort of some encrypted bits of data, and so it cannot send it to another device. You have to have the original device key, all of that. It's a technically complex thing to solve. So we are going to launch it with the idea that, and you can use it, but backup will land in maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks. So that's how we are going to launch it. But you will see it. You will get an update soon. So.
Mr. Vambu, this may sound a bit harsh, but why should Indians use Zoho's apps like Arattai or the web browser Ula? Is it because they offer a better user experience or simply because they are Swadeshi products?
So, first of all, we have a global outlook. We are everywhere, and 90% of the company's revenues come from outside India. So we are not saying that people adopt only because it's made in India. Of course, I also say, in order for our nation to be truly prosperous, we have to gain all of these capabilities. In other words, both are true. We want to have a global outlook. We want to be a trading nation, but to be trading on equal terms, we need capabilities. And a lot of the people don't understand it. It's the fact that you can just buy it does not make you resilient. Also, you are always on the value mismatch is there. I mean, the classic example I give is, you cannot export only oil and buy all technologies. Middle Eastern nations realize it now. Similarly, we cannot export low value addition products and buy high value addition products all the time, which actually, if we accept the terms of trade, that means we accept our value addition will be low, and we accept a relative low income status. If we want to become a higher income economy, we have to focus on value addition. That means inventing all of this technology. And that is the point of all this. Not that use us because we are made in India alone. That's not the fact. The fact is, we have to build all this in India, and Zoho is one of the companies doing it. I'm sure there'll be many other companies. There need to be many other companies building all of this in India, and then we can play on a level playing field globally in terms of trade.
Companies like Google and Meta have huge amounts of user data to improve their AI and personalization. How do you innovate without relying on surveillance driven models? Do you think there is any level playing field?
The critical question now is not just having data center in India, that's important, but where is IP held? Where is the intellectual property held? Because there is two. One is economic. Intellectual property is where all the value addition is going. If intellectual property is held somewhere else, then the value is going there. And just earlier, as I explained, when we automatically accept low value addition status, therefore low income status as a nation. That means the intellectual property and the value accruing to intellectual property has to be here for us to experience decent prosperity for all. That is one. That's the economic argument. The second is resilience and national security. In an adverse scenario, that intellectual property can be weaponized against us. We have seen this before. The GPS positioning system at a critical moment, at a critical place, was not available to us in India. And this that kill switch, as they call it on technology, Where is it residing? Even if the data is physically available here, who has the kill switch? That matters a lot. These questions are very important. And very regrettably, in the last year, 2 years, few years, we have seen this. Other nations have shown that they can weaponize all of this, including the SWIFT payment system. Global payment system has been weaponized. So, which means that any such dependency, that's why we have to develop our own UPI payment settlement system and make it globalized, right? This is an uncomfortable question, but it is real. All of us in India face this. And finally, this such a large nation as us, and the demographics, not owning any of these technologies is a very unnatural outcome, and that's not tenable. Our nation cannot be, in somebody else's empire as a camp follower. It's not possible. It is not. Doesn't make sense with our demographics, which means we have to build our own, independent technological capability here. So those are the reasons these are all important, and it's not merely a data center here, all of that. Those are to me stops. What they're trying to do is, okay, hey, you put a data center, you have it there. That's not going to be enough. Where is IP held? That question has to be asked. And in fact, we are in an uncomfortable position where a lot of the IP is actually produced, created in India by Indian citizens working in these global capability centers. Still, the IP is registered elsewhere, and the profits go there. And it's also a tax issue, right? If that IP and the related profits are in India, the Indian government and therefore the Indian taxpayer will benefit from this. But the taxes are paid elsewhere. So all of these are issues that we have to ask, questions we have to ask.
Mr. Vembu, you have been strong advocate that one should not lay off people, especially a tech company. What are we witnessing is a series of layoffs from tech giants, whether it's Google, Meta, Amazon. How do you see these layoffs? And do you think AI is a bubble? One more thing, and there are people out there who are really happy with data centers being set up in India, but are they really going to create jobs?
So the layoff, the question, the fundamental thing facing companies is, can we expect loyalty from employees and commitment when we don't show, as employers, show the commitment and loyalty? It's a very fundamental question. If jobs are, we can lay off anyone at will all the time, how can we expect commitment and loyalty from the other side? That's a basic question any business person has to ask, any corporate has to ask that question. It's a two-way street, and that is why I oppose layoffs, because if we expect any commitment and loyalty, and I can assure you that it's only that commitment, passion, trust that produces great technology. If we expect it, then we have to give it first. We have to earn it. We have to earn that loyalty, earn that commitment. So that's the first. That's a very fundamental. It's not anything controversial even. Now on the AI question, this really goes back to fundamental question. What is the who owns the technology here? Because it's not about AI. For example, we don't complain when some work we are doing at home is automated. We don't complain that there's a washing machine. We don't complain that, hey, I don't get to every day wash my own clothes every day. I really hate this washing machine, right? It's automating our life and we are benefiting from it. No question, right? So technology by itself is in that sense neutral. It can be beneficial. And the key, and do we really complain that people who are hand washing clothes, their jobs are lost? Not true, right? So the question becomes, how do people earn the income to pay for the goods and services that potentially automated factories, AI, they are all producing? The AI is producing goods and services, automated factories, robots, all that is producing the goods and services. We don't need humans to do that work. How do we afford those goods and services? That is the economic question. It is not, it's a fundamentally an economic, political economic question and not a technology question. Technology may be capable of, I'll give you an example. In future, technology may produce certain kinds of goods completely automated. There's not a single, you make a design, you send it to a factory, everything in the factory is automated, it rolls out, the product rolls out. There's no human involved. Now, there are no jobs in that factory now. But how do the humans afford that product? That's a fundamental question, and answers are known. It's actually not a very difficult problem to solve. One answer people would say is universal basic income. The government essentially pays people to afford the goods and services. And we already see that type of politics in very many states in India, because that's what we call freebies, but in the West they call it universal basic income. They are the same kind, same nature of that. Okay, that's one type of solution. That's a political solution. There is actually different other solutions possible, and the nature of jobs may change. We talk about, for example, preserving nature, rivers, water. Let me tell you, let me give you problems that are not outside the purview of AI. Restoring our soil health, restoring our food safety, uh, making sure that everybody gets nutritious food that is healthy, and water, making sure that we have water, and restoring our ponds, our rivers, and then planting trees and taking care of all of the livestock, animals well. As we drink milk, we consume the livestock products. Are they in good health? All of these can be well paying jobs. And then teaching kids, nursing patients, nursing the sick. All of them could be well paying jobs. And I'll leave you with this idea. And what does a rural Indian teacher earn? How long? Here's a metric I use. How many days of work a teacher has to work in order to afford an iPhone? Okay. And for a rural Indian teacher, it may be 5 months, 6 months, something like that. Could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, depending on the what the job pays. A teacher in Switzerland may be like 3 days, 4 days. So the same job teaching, same job, exact job teaching. The rural teacher in India also may be very good. There are some very good teachers here. The Swiss teacher may be doing a very good job. 3 or 4 days of pay buys you an iPhone. Here, 3 or 4 months of pay buys you an iPhone, maybe longer. Why is that? The same iPhone, the same teaching job. The geographic location changed the pay, right? That completely arises from the how much production you have, how is the distribution of income. And that's a political economic question, structural question. It is not a technology question. It can be solved.
Home Minister Amit Shah announced on Twitter that he will be using Zoho mail services. More than 12 lakh employees are also using Zoho services. Apart from this, what kind of support you are looking at from the government?
First of all, we are very grateful for Amit Shahji's support. We are very grateful for the tweet, all of that. And last 2 years, the NIC has been rolling out Zoho Mail, and I think about 1.5 million government staff are now using it already. So that's one. The government is very sensitized to this whole question of technology sovereignty, technology resilience, all of these questions. And these are topics that I've also been talking about for 4 or 5 years now. It is very clear now that we have to have, and even the economic question I talked about, the socio-economic question, that crucially depends on who owns the IP. For example, if in an automated factory, the IP holders of the robots, the machines would reap the profit. Who owns it is a critical question. If it is owned in India, the taxes are paid in India, and the benefits could flow to citizens. Infrastructure could be built in India. It's a basic, common sense, all of this, which is why nations are now in a war to own that IP, technological resilience. And we have to have a stake in that system. We have to ensure that we have and only even when we trade, we want to trade on equal terms. And the terms of trade are like this. Is a Switzerland teacher, 3 days of work is worth an iPhone? Why can't a teacher in Tamil Nadu or Bihar or wherever aspire to that? Is that fundamentally not a good aspiration? The answer to that depends on how much technology is created here. It's the income for the teacher or the nurse Depends on how much technology is created here. That's the linkage that I want to create. That is the awareness that has to spread.
How do you feel when people compare Zoho's apps and products with Koo and Hike? Critics say Zoho cannot ride the wave of nationalism forever. It needs to offer us better products.
So I said in the beginning, I simply ignore them. See, the only way to answer those critics is to last long enough and win. That's all. In other words, in these things, 5 years later, if it's doing well, 10 years later, you're doing well. That's the answer. The game is not determined in the. This is like they are declaring the game over in the very first over. That's all. That's what they're doing. So, in cricket analogy.
How do you see the future of AI? OpenAI, Nvidia, AMD, Microsoft, Oracle. These are the top 5 and 6 companies and they are investing into each other. Is AI really a bubble?
As of last week, already there are signs in the US technology sector, the US stock market, that there is a pronounced cooling. And even in the US financial system on Wall Street, people have started asking questions about all of this. We are talking about $2-3 trillion commitments, investment commitments, and not sufficient even revenue, leave alone profit to pay for all that investment. And last week, just there were reports about OpenAI CEO talking about a government backstop for all this. Then there was a lot of pushback, and so it is. This whole current hype cycle is cooling off. This doesn't mean that AI is all will die. That's not true. The internet, we had a dot-com bust. Only after that the internet really took off. So first we have to cool the hype in anything. By the way, it's the same thing with Arattai. I really don't care to operate in pure hype environment. We are here to produce really long-term technology, and I don't pay attention to hype. Thank goodness we are not a public company, because if we were public, the stock would have gone to the moon and then crashed. We don't want that. We are not interested in those things. And the same thing is happening in the broad AI sector, where it is just shot to the moon and then it's coming down to earth. But still, the technology, there is a lot of valuable things you can do with technology. We are doing it. We are doing our own AI technologies here, but it's a long haul effort. That's how I'll put it.
Mr. Vembu, your tweets often go viral. And in one of the tweets, you said defeatist mindset, quote unquote, is stopping Indians from creating world class products. Do you really believe that's the main reason that India has not been able to create a world class product, or infrastructure, capital, and the ecosystem also play a big role?
See, this to do R&D today, to go and invent a technology, whether it's in electrical motors, whatever, lots of Indian companies, lots of even rich people in India have the capital to do this. This does not require that much government support, any of those. I'm not saying government should not support. What I'm saying is, for example, Zoho has created all of these products. We did not have any government support. And I'm saying that government support is not required to build, invent technology itself in most areas. Certain very specialized areas, you may need it. But most of the areas, it's not true. Creating a really good motor or a robot, any of those things. And even in China, it is not true that government supported all of this. And in China, a lot of entrepreneurs, hundreds of entrepreneurs jumped in. They had a conducive environment broadly, but really the Chinese believed in themselves. We have to believe in ourselves. And for that, I also have said this many times on X, we have to revive our languages. I do not believe any nation has come up on the global stage by using a foreign language in its discourse. We have to revive our languages, our mother tongues. It's very important. And each of our states have sufficient population to actually fully revive the language. And we can have a linked language, but we cannot have the national discourse happening in English like what it is happening today. To me, that's an important part of this, because I tell you why it's important. We are leaving out maybe 70, 80% of the talent pool outside the door looking in. That if you go to whether the rural Tamil Nadu or rural Uttar Pradesh, anywhere, The number of people who can fluently speak Hindi and speak English and take part in this whole technology sector is small, relatively small. And we are focused on only bringing them in today. Part of my rural push is also to ensure that students who are not comfortable with English can build technology. That's very important. That is the way we can build all this.
In the last, I want to ask, would you like to reveal what are the products Zoho is working on right now that we can expect in near future, and in any updates on we can expect from Arattai?
For now, I'll leave it with a lot of updates coming on Arattai. That's the main thing to look for right now. Okay, a lot of updates in the next month or so in Arattai. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Vembu, for having a conversation with ANI. It was really nice speaking with you. Thank you, sir.